All right, I'm going to teach you how to use a Photogate. It's a really common piece of lab equipment that we can use to time object as they move through a laser. So I'm going to kind of show you the Photogate, but also show you how it works with the LabQuest. So we're going to use this in other labs too, but we're going to use it in our projectile launcher lab. So this is the Photogate, right? And essentially it's like a gate, right? That's why it's called that. And we're going to try and get something to pass through the gate, and we're going to be able to figure out how much time it takes for it to pass through that gate. So how it works is that there is this little laser that comes from this side over to that side. See those little holes? Okay. And it can determine to like the 10,000th seconds when something enters into the laser and then once it leaves the laser. In the projectile launcher video, if you watch that, you may have seen it set up with 2 Photogates because it was like trying to time of like when you got from one Photogate to another. But we don't really need that. We really are only going to use one Photogate because they can measure so accurately. Okay, so another thing that you see right here is this little notch right here will block the laser. So if you turn it on and it says that it's blocked, it's probably because of that, and you can just open it up. We want it open when we're doing the lab, obviously. Okay, so this thing hooks up to something called the LabQuest. We can also hook them up to the Chromebooks, but the LabQuest just are a little bit more portable, so we're going to use them for this. And if we don't have enough LabQuests that are working, we can figure out using the Chromebook. But I just want to show you how the LabQuest works too. There's several different types of LabQuests, but they all kind of look the same once you turn on the screen. This is the older version, and honestly, it works better than the newer ones. Some of the newer ones haven't lasted quite so good. So that's what you're going to see. So what we want to do is we want to hook up the Photogate to the LabQuest. So if you look on the side of the Photogate, there's really 2 different attachments. There's this white one. We're not going to use that port. We're going to use this one that looks like a phone jack. And maybe you're too young to know what a phone jack is, but in the olden days, we had landlines and phones that were like attached to the wall in your house and were stuck there. And so this is what the plug looked like when you plugged it in. So you're going to plug in the phone jack in the side of this Photogate. And then the other side of it looks like this. Okay. And we're going to plug that into our LabQuest. And the LabQuest has like 2 ports that look like it fits that. There's this one. We're not using the channels on the top. You're going to use this on the side where it says DIG, right? It stands for digital, and we're going to plug it in. It doesn't matter which one you plug it in, okay? The other thing, if you notice, these guys are old, so usually the batteries don't really last. You got to have them plugged in all the time. Okay, so when I do that, you can see that it automatically says blocked, right? Or sorry, unblocked, right? Or it automatically picks up what the sensor is that I'm using, okay? So it says unblocked because I don't have anything in the laser. But if I go in there and I, put my finger in front of it, you can kind of see what happens. It turns to blocked, right? And then unblocked. The other way that you can see if it's blocked or unblocked is on the top, there's a light. So if I cover it up, if you plug it in and you see that light on, it's probably because it's blocked. It might be because that little tab thing is down there, okay? So seeing like blocked versus unblocked isn't going to get us a good time. So on the LabQuest, we want to click on this setting right here. Sorry, I'm trying to get it in the camera. Up at the top, right now, we don't want to see a graph. What we want to do is we want to see this data table, right? That's going to have our times. Let me shift the camera just a little bit so you can see better. There you go. So you're just going to click right here, that middle table, and it's gonna give us a data table. Well, there's no data right now, right? Okay, so we're gonna collect some data. I'm gonna just have my finger pass through the laser, right? And I'm gonna hit play, and then we'll look and see what the data looks like after it's collected. So here's my Photogate. I'm gonna hit play. You can hit it on the screen or there's like a button on there too, and I'm just gonna go like this. Whoosh. And then let's look and see. Okay, So if we look at the screen, we see blocked, right? So that's the point at which my finger entered into the laser. And then unblocked was the time that my finger left the laser. So the width of my finger took 0.01151 seconds in order to pass through that laser. We're not going to use the distance or the velocity on here to calculate anything. The only thing we ever use the Photogates for is to get a very accurate time. Then we need to process that information to figure out velocity. Okay, so I think that gives you a quick enough rundown where we can use the Photogate for our projectile launcher lab.